have a pretty close group of friends, 4 other guys including myself. We're all in our mid-30s, and we've all been friends since we were 13. A couple years back, 2 of my friends moved back in town, so we all have been meeting up fairly regularly ever since. Because of this, our wives are all friends now. My closest friend, Max, I've known my whole life. He and his wife, Julie, have gotten really close with my wife and I over the years. Back in 2012, when Max and Julie first got married, Julie had an affair with a guy from work. To make matters worse, the guy Julie had an affair with was married to Max's boss. We found out Julie had been having a 6-month affair 9 months into their marriage. I thought for sure they were going to break up, but they didn't. I respect Max's decision, but I don't agree with it. Over the years, I have paid attention to their relationship in case he needs me. As time goes on, and we've moved on, the subject has moved into a less heavy light. I rib Max from time to time, and he ribs me back. I had breast cancer from 2015 to 2019, and never stopped hearing the jokes pour in from him. 3 weeks ago, Max bought Julie a BMW as an early 10th wedding anniversary present. A day later, I told Max, while we were out with the other guys, "Max, if I screw some other guy, will you buy me a Palisade?" And we all laughed it off, as is usual. A few days later, Max told me he left Julie. Last year, he had caught her having another affair, but never told anyone. I'm absolutely heartbroken over this. Max is my best friend, and I've invited him to live with my wife and I for the time being. However, now my wife and the other wives are upset at me for the joke. They all liked Julie and think I was being a dick to Max. I'm certain I was, but that's basically our whole friendship, which made him leave her. I don't agree at all. In fact, the other day when I came home from work, my wife was on the phone with Julie, and I said, "You better get that whore off the phone before Max gets here." I, quite frankly, do not care for Julie. I have only put up with her for Max's sake, and now that he's left her, I'm not worried about burning this bridge. However, I am being told I took it too far. What's the consensus? Let's get that consensus from the community. Obiter Dicta says, "Not the a-hole. Julie's behavior made Max leave Julie, not you. You were unaware of Julie's more recent infidelity, and her first affair had been fair game for jokes in the past, so you had no idea you were pressing on a sore point. I'd be concerned that your wife is ready to blame you for Julie and Max's failed marriage before she blames Julie." Our next chime in from Capri Sunrising. "Not the a-hole. It's frankly odd to me that your wife isn't put off by Julie having yet another affair and continuing that friendship business as usual. I would have questions if my girlfriend's husband left her because of a second affair." Last thought from ProudSpell1711. "I am a woman, and I gotta say, the way some guys razz each other is a mystery to me, but I accept that it happens. As long as Max never indicated to you that the teasing bothered him, not the a-hole. I would recommend you not alienate Julie, however, since Max seems to have a complicated relationship with her. If he decides to reconcile with her, which hopefully he won't, but you never know, you don't want to find yourself estranged from your friend because you insulted his wife or ex-wife." Moving on to the next one. Am I the a-hole for refusing to have the same diet as my pregnant, soon-to-be ex-wife? Disclaimer. My English is not the best. It's not my first language. My, male 26, wife, female 24, got pregnant about 4 months ago. Before getting married, we agreed not to have children, but then her IUD failed and she decided to keep it. So now we're in the process of getting a divorce. We filed the week she made her decision, but the process is slow for some bureaucratic things in my country. Problem is, we're still living together. She doesn't have a family in this country, and her mother is coming in about 3 months to help her with the moving and the baby. But for the meantime, we're still living in my house, just in separate rooms. Recently, she decided to start an insanely healthy diet for the baby, and replaced all her meals for veggie shakes and salads, meat substitutes, almond milk. You get me. This would be okay, as I don't care what she eats, but she threw out all my food from the fridge because of cross-contamination concerns, and is actively bothering me to keep the same diet as her, saying I should support her because she's trying to be healthy for the baby. Last night, I was too tired after work to go eat a proper meal outside, so I just ordered some fried chicken. She went nuclear with the delivery guy and me, so I ended up eating and sleeping on my car. Needless to say, we're still fighting. I just don't see the point for me going on a diet. If she wants to take care of herself and her baby, that's her issue. The food I eat has zero relevance to her health, and it's not like I'm unhealthy enough as for her to be worried about if I'll be able to pay child support for the next 18 years, which of course I will. So kind community, am I the a-hole? Alright community, what do they say? OZSH90 says, let's recap with your additional comments, as this post is soon going to become a crap show of people coming after you for being a horrible human being, something I completely disagree with. You married your ex with an understanding that neither of you wanted kids and that you'd abort in case your ex got pregnant. She was on an IUD and it failed. You had a scheduled vasectomy that was postponed due to the pandemic and you haven't been able to reschedule. She decided to keep the baby with the understanding that you'd want no part in their life if she had the baby. You continue to support her financially and live with her until her mother arrives so she wouldn't be in a bad situation. You'll pay child support once the baby arrives. Not the a-hole. And it is said by a woman who grew up without a father. You made your point clear from the beginning. You are honest and you are doing your part by providing financial support now and plan on continuing to do so. While this whole diet thing is just your ridiculous cherry on top of a very messy cake your life has become, as even in a working relationship, husbands are not obliged to follow diets that their pregnant spouses start on a whim, especially without consulting a doctor. People will accuse you of being heartless and unable to do the decent thing, but I do remember my father, who used to show up a couple of times per year, completely uncomfortable and not the least loving. I'd rather he hadn't. Not every person is meant to become a parent. Learn from your mistake and start using condoms until you have your vasectomy, even if your next partner already uses protection on her own. Next thought from What This For? Not your wife, not your choice, not your diet, not your problem. Your house, your money, your groceries. If she doesn't like it, she can GTFO. Astra Disaster chimes in next. Not the a-hole. It's her diet, not yours, and if you're buying that food, I'd be pretty pissed she's wasting it. Last thought from Just a Sad Noob. Not the a-hole. Why is she throwing your food out of the fridge? Throw her out as soon as you can. On to the next story. With update. My 18 male stepmom, 25 female, keeps using my girlfriend, 17 female, as a babysitter for my sister, 4, whenever we're hanging out. I'm an 18 male. My girlfriend Shannon is a 17 female. We met because my stepmom, Lindsay, 25 female, hired her to babysit for my half-sister, who's 4. It was never a nannying type situation, just random nights out here and there starting when my sister was like 2. Me and my girlfriend had always kind of known each other from school, but never really hung out. We started talking when she'd be over watching my sister. Eventually, we started dating, and it's been great since then. The issue is my stepmom seems to think Shannon is now at her beck and call whenever Shannon is over, which is a lot. She'll just be like, "Oh, Shannon, I'm just running out to get my nails done. You don't mind keeping an eye on Remy, do you?" Or if Shannon stays over on a weekend, she'll walk into the room really early and wake up Shannon and be like, "Oh, I just want to run out while she's sleeping. I'll be right back." And then be gone until 2 or 3. Shannon needs to stick up for herself and say no, but when Lindsay just comes in and doesn't even ask, she just says, "Oh, you wouldn't mind, would you?" She says she just freezes up and says yes, because if she says no, it will be like her saying yes, she does mind watching my sister, which she thinks gives off the wrong impression. I've tried talking to my stepmom about it, and she just says, "Don't be silly, Shannon doesn't mind at all." Even when I tell her straight up Shannon doesn't want to be her on-call babysitter 24/7. So what's ending up happening is that whatever plans me and Shannon have get screwed. We just hang out at home, and then when I have to go to work or practice, which is why my stepmom knows she can't count on me for childcare, Shannon is stuck at my house for hours with my sister. When I found out I was going to have a sibling, I was happy, but I also made it clear I'm not a babysitter. My sister is a really cool kid. We vibe hard. I love hanging out with her, and obviously some of the times we hang out, it's just me and her, like when we go to the park and movies and crap, but that's not babysitting. That's just hanging with my sister. I tried to talk to my dad and stepmom that except for times when they talk to Shannon about it beforehand, it's not fair to just spring it on her. Lindsay says that Shannon is agreeing to it, so it's fine. My point is the situation is too awkward for Shannon, and she feels like she can't say no. Lindsay keeps saying I'm ridiculous. Hanging out at Shannon's house isn't really an option, for reasons I'm not even going to go into here. Update. Me and my girlfriend talked it over. She said she was uncomfortable with either one of us straight up telling my stepmom to stop because she was concerned that she'd find another sitter. She likes babysitting the times we don't have plans. And she was worried my younger sister would hear that Shannon didn't want to babysit her and feel bad. So I wrote up a contract for Shannon, my stepmom, and dad to sign. Basically it says they have to ask Shannon 36 hours before they want her to babysit, that any less time than that is considered an emergency session, and her hourly rate goes up significantly, and they still have to give 12-hour notice. Shannon also gave Lindsay her sister's phone number in case she needs someone to watch my sister on the day Shannon already has plans. We all sat down, and they agreed to it, and so far, so good. To address all the comments about my stepmom's age, yeah, it's not my ideal situation either. She's 11 years younger than my dad, who's 37. My mom and dad got married after they had me when my dad was 19 and my mom was 20. They were married for 10 years until my mom passed. A few years after she died, he met Lindsay at a library fundraiser. They dated, got married, and had my sister. Trust me, I don't like the fact that some of my friends have siblings older than my stepmom. But it's my dad's life, and everyone seems pretty happy. It's not my place to tell two adults what they should or shouldn't do, and to be honest, in a few months when I graduate, me and Shannon are going to get our own place anyway. Our first reaction comes from Innocuous Profile. I've never been so proud of a stranger before. Good job, OP. You handled this like a pro. I hope things continue in the right direction for you and your family. You seem like a good person. Neutral Good 079 says, yes with the contract. A good option. Ideally, you guys should have set the boundary. However, you're 18, so you have time. But this is a good option. Make sure you draw a contract for sister too, so they don't use her poorly too. Pinky HC has a last thought. Wow, great job, OP. You advocated for your girlfriend and listened to her. This is fantastic. I wish more people had the communication skills and respect you do. On to the next story. 5-year relationship breakup for not agreeing to never have sex again. I, male 27, just ended a 5-year relationship with my girlfriend, female 27. I don't understand how it didn't work out. We have been together since college, and we get along great. 1 year ago, I suggested to her to move in and start a life together. When we were going to sign the contract for the apartment, she backed out as she wanted to experience what it's like to live alone. It hurt me, but I accepted it. It was necessary for her, and I had already experienced it. She needed to know herself. Since then, we see each other very little and had sex less than once a month, by her decision. I know she loves me. We had dates and good moments. She said she wanted to talk seriously with me about something. I thought it was finally about our future, for which I had dreamed so much. But instead, she told me that if we wanted to be together, we could not have sex anymore. Never, as she always felt obliged to please me. I want to make it clear that I never forced her to have sex with me, her words. I know we love each other and make a good couple, but it just doesn't happen for us. She is very sensitive and loving, and I miss her quite a bit, but I feel like I gave up a lot in the past and didn't want to do it again. I don't know if I had to give more of myself. I feel sorry for what she is going through because I know it is a complicated situation for her. Do we do the right thing? Now I'm going to try to sleep. I need to get those thoughts out of my head. PD, sorry for my English, I only speak Spanish. Edit 1. People, she's not sleeping with someone else. It's not an option, but I understand the comments. Edit 2. Thanks everyone. I realize that it's not a common thing, but it happens. We can both find someone who may be more compatible to be with. I know it sounds obvious, but it's hard to see. And if you are a person who chooses to treat another poorly and disregard their feelings just for sex, you have never really been in love. Thank you for all your words. I hope she and I can remain friends, even if it's just for a little while. Here comes some reactions from the community. Blair Shadowpaw starts us off. It's okay to break up because sex is something you want in a relationship, but that she doesn't. It doesn't matter either of you are failures or bad or did anything wrong. Bella Santiago 1975 says, sexual incompatibility is a very common reason for breakups. You shouldn't feel bad for that. Someone can be a wonderful fit for you in most ways, but everyone has their deal breakers, and no sex is a big one. It's not just about the orgasms, it's about the intimacy with the other person. It was very mature of you to not take up the offer for you to sleep with other women. Your ex might be asexual, by the way. She may be very confused about why she isn't keen on sex and might want to Google some resources because that's perfectly normal. My R. Kath says, it's okay to break up. I am asexual and have no interest in sex, but I know that for many people it is an important part of the relationship. In the long run, such a relationship would be rather bad for both of you. Woman in the kitchen chimes in, don't feel bad, mate. I've been here and did the same. You'll find someone who fulfills you more than you can imagine. After my breakup, because my ex suddenly turned into a religious nut job saying our relationship and sex made God mad at her, I flat out told her, as she expected, I can't follow this path. so we broke up. A few months later, I met this amazing girl, and I'm quite glad all of this happened. Last thought from ThrowRA12345668. She basically forced you to break up with her. Most people would understand that telling their partner they would never have sex with them again would result in their partner leaving them. So she got you to be the bad guy and break up with her.